Rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of September 14th, 2021, with instructions for internet access, was included in the meeting notice sent to the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 6, 2021, and advertised in said newspapers on January 8th and January 9th, 2021, respectively posted on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building on January 9th, 2021, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public. It is posted on the main doors the Friday before the meeting and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. And we don't need to do this. Can we take it off the agenda going forward, please? Roll call.
Mayor Gilmore.
Here.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Here.
Mr. Levinson.
Here.
Mr. Klaus.
Here.
Mr. Montgomery.
Here.
I need approval of the regular minutes of August 10th, 2021.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery.
Yes.
Mr. Levinson.
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Reports. We have the tax collector, code enforcement, fire official, construction, and emergency services reports for August 2021. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. We approve the reports. I'll second.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Mr. Levinson.
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery.
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. We're now open for comments from the public with agenda items only. Yes, ma'am.
Katie, if you could pull your microphones down and just try to be conscious of talking to it. I think Mr. Levinson's having a little bit of difficulty hearing everyone, so thank you. Okay, good. Gave us a thumbs up. All right. Thanks, Hannah.
Hi, Anna Evans, 63 Parry Drive. I just have a comment on Ordinance 2021-11. I am linking this back to what happened at last month's meeting when we had the presentation about the sidewalks, and there was a discussion about who was responsible for repairing the sidewalks, and we were, realized we couldn't use the COVID money, etc. So does this ordinance put some or all of the responsibility on repairing the sidewalks onto the property owner who is in front or behind of that sidewalk?
Can I ask you to do this because there will be a public hearing on the ordinance?
But that's in a month's time.
Oh, I thought the public hearing tonight.
This is the introduction.
So
Intro.
So my point is that
apologize.
if we want, if residents object to that idea, if that's what the idea is, and residents object to that, they need to be alerted to it so that they can come and attend the October meeting, and then they can all speak. Because I personally don't have a problem with the sidewalk in front of my house, but I'm sure that there are people who do.
Yeah, the only way that notice, otherwise we'd be sending letters out to everybody in the town. So the notice will be published in accordance with the law as any other ordinance would be. It'll be posted. So we'll comply with whatever the statute requires. But to answer your question, yes, this is a means by which to relieve the taxpayers of obligations or of the responsibility of fixing sidewalks and put it on, as most every municipality has it, put the burden on the abutting property owner to make sure that their sidewalk is.
Right. So just to doubly clarify, because I'm going to post about this, if a property owner currently has a sidewalk that has one of those deficiencies that were pointed out in the assessment, they are going to be responsible at their own cost to fix it.
What's going to happen is this: every abutting sidewalk owner, every property owner, will now become responsible, as is the case in most municipalities, for their sidewalk. Nobody's going to suddenly have people showing up and saying, you got to fix that tomorrow, right? So there is a process that will be followed in terms of, one, identifying sidewalks that need repair, sidewalks that present a danger to the pedestrian public. Notice will be sent to them saying, here's why we think your sidewalk needs to be fixed. If you don't think it's your sidewalk, tell us that. Right? If you don't think it needs to be fixed, tell us that, and we'll have a discussion, I guess. But at the end of the day, here's what you need to do. And then they'll be given time to do it. And if they don't get it done within that time, as is always the case in Haynes Court, if you saw the code enforcement officer's report, everybody gets second, third, and fourth chances before the township steps in. And that's just administratively how that probably will be implemented. And they'll be given second and third chances to do the repair. At some point, though, in order to protect the public, the sidewalk will have to be repaired if it's been identified that way. And then the township will go in and do it. The resident, the property owner will already have been notified that, here's what needs to be done, please go ahead and do it. If you don't do it, and the township has to do it, we're going to impose a lien on the property, right? And that's what will end up happening.
Okay.
Yeah, but I missed the last meeting, but, the spirit of the issue was for the town to, and it's right in here, I'm reading, to try to develop some means to help or offset the costs to do that. And I don't know if that's worked out yet.
It is, yes, and if I can just further clarify that. So, yeah, I mean, this is an issue that there are many sides to. There's some competing concerns, one of which is, is it equitable for one particular community that has an overabundance of sidewalks that need to be repaired? Is it equitable for all of the taxpayers to pay for that sidewalk if they're never even going to be in that, or they don't even have sidewalks in front of their house? So there's a lot of equity issues. There's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration. But if you look further on in the agenda, I think that we've come up with a really good solution, and that is to apply for grant funding to address honestly, the top 6 sidewalks, which are egregiously in worse condition in comparison to all of the others in the community. I mean, there's a significant gap in the disrepair of those particular sidewalks in comparison to all the other parts of the community. So I think to address those competing issues, I think the Safe Routes to School grant, we are 100% eligible to apply for, and that's what we hope to do so that we can mitigate any of those concerns, and that not all taxpayers are paying for one community's sidewalks to get, repaired.
Right, and I'm sorry, I realize I'm taking up too much time, but this, no homeowner will be required to fix their sidewalk before we know whether or not we've gotten the Safe Routes to Schools funding.
Correct. I mean, that's our next
Well,
step.
that's the idea, that's the plan, right? Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
who knows what could happen tomorrow, but that's the plan. anyway.
okay, thank you for the clarification.
And, just to say something quickly too, is that what really interests me is there are communities that have no sidewalks at all.
Right.
So imagine if you're one of those people that have no sidewalk and you're being and you're paying taxes to repair someone's sidewalk. I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I have a sidewalk, but I can tell you if I didn't have one, I'd be sitting out there.
I can tell you some communities where the, I'll say HOA, clears the sidewalk during snowstorms. They're responsible generally for the sidewalk. Generally, if a resident is responsible to clear the sidewalk, they're responsible for the sidewalk. So I don't know what it's been in that community. I don't have sidewalks. I have to deal with the county pushing snow into my driveway. So, so everybody's got a different story, and, we're just trying to make it equitable for everybody.
And on the other side of the coin, some of the sidewalks are just a result of bad planning.
Right.
That the town has to bear the responsibility for. A lot of things we don't do anymore. We don't put oak trees in between the sidewalk and the curb because we know what happens. But Paul is working on some grants, and as John states, it's really the property owner's responsibility. And there is some, I think you said it last time, John. There's some shared legal responsibility between the municipality and the homeowner if somebody trips.
Yep.
And again, it's just a bad situation, and we're working on it, and the wheels turn slow, but they definitely turn, and I'm sure we're going to get them fixed.
Yeah, no, that's
fair-
absolutely fine. I just wanted to clarify
Yep.
because it wasn't really clear from the way.
And I agree with you. I think
worded.
it's something we just have to try to,
Yeah,
and Paul had a great idea with that one grant, and we'll see. We can get to work on, if we can get to
Okay.
work on it.
okay.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Anyone online this evening?
This is Bruce Levinson. I do have a question about section 2.
Mr. Levinson, this is for public comment. Mr. Levinson, I believe you're part of the
ordinance hasn't
committee.
come up yet.
It's not from here.
Are we good?
No, the ordinance hasn't come up yet, Bruce. It was just public comment. So the ordinance is coming up
And this
soon.
is introduction.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
why don't you wait till we introduce it?
Wait, we can discuss it later.
Yeah.
Love your enthusiasm.
Is there any other
We
public?
do have one resident online. There's-
Okay. Seeing none, we'll close that and bring up ordinance number 2021-11 for introduction. This is providing for the construction, repair, and/or replacement of sidewalks and curbing, abutting property owners, and authorizing the placement of liens on non-compliant properties. This is the first reading and introduction. The public hearing and final adoption will be October 12th, 2021. So I need a motion and a second.
So did Bruce have a question?
Well, you need, yeah, if there's a motion and a second, then Mr. Levinson can raise his question.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we
Thank you.
approve ordinance 2021-11.
I'll second.
And we have a question?
Yeah, I just want an explanation in layman's terms of section 2.
So the property owner will be given notice by the township's construction official, or the township's engineer, or the administrator, of the nature of the problem with the sidewalk, what needs to be repaired. They then have, it says 30 days, and there have been questions raised by that individually by members of the committee. I think that's more of an implementation issue. As I said to Anna, you know, Hainsport is pretty well known for giving people second and third chances to get it done. It's just that you want to establish some time frame within which they at least have to start looking at it. And then it also provides for what the written notice will tell people that they have to have. And at the end of the day, if, you know, first, second, and third chances don't work and the sidewalk is not only not repaired, but there's no effort to undertake that repair, then the township can step in and undertake that work and then impose it as a lien on the property.
I understand that, and that's important because given these times where there's shortages of materials and people.
Yep, exactly.
30 days can really be a hardship, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, as long as the construction office and our people are lenient and these people who are having the issue are working with them, I'm fine with it.
Thank you. And for what it's worth, your colleagues all asked the same question individually of us, and that was the idea, is that as the governing body, you can effectively say to, you know, code enforcement or the engineer, look, give them a second chance, give them a third chance. It's just that the idea is there's got to be some time frame within which we at least know they're making the effort.
You want action, right?
Yeah.
You just want some action. If we extend it, you don't want someone waiting so many days and then doing it, right? So that was the idea, Bruce. It's funny you bring that up, so.
Yep.
Because I was one of those people that talked about it, yeah.
But, you know, again, I have a question on my own motion. You know, this has kind of got some big teeth, this ordinance, but, you know, I see that, you know, again, in 6, and, you know, we were talking about it initially, that we were going to try to appropriate some money in the budget and/or grants to take care of this. So I hope the committee is open to some monies in next year's budget to go for some sidewalk repairs, and however we arrive at who gets it done, I'm sure will be fair and equitable. That's it.
Well, I have something to say about this. This actually should have been done a long time ago, because in communities like this, the responsibility of the sidewalk is the homeowners. So however we resolve this situation, but it sets forth a program where the homeowners will be responsible for their sidewalks. So how we resolve it, hopefully we can do it with township grant funds or something like that to get us all, make sure we don't have trees that are lifting our sidewalks, causing a hardship to the homeowners. We don't want that. But we also have to have somebody take responsibility for sidewalks in front of their house. And we are an HOA community, so, that really doesn't fit where the HOA would cover the cost of it. So it's just a way of solving the problem, and we have to somehow get to a resolution so everybody's happy.
I think the essence of the issue is already known by the residents. I mean, they already know that they have to maintain the sidewalks for snowstorms, for ice, debris, and things of that nature. I mean, that's already being done. I think the impetus behind this is just the large-scale issues on several of the streets that economies of scale just lend itself to, we need to kind of get this done in the best interest of those residents. And then looking backwards, we realize that, really not.
And in the interest of the residents that use the sidewalks, we have to make sure they're safe too. So we got to, somehow define this and address it.
Long overdue.
Do we have a roll call on that vote?
Oh, we did the vote.
We did?
We're good.
No, did the motion in a second.
We did a
don't think
motion
we
and a
voted on
second.
this
You didn't
yet.
do the call
Right.
because there was questions.
Okay. Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes.
You just had that crystal ball.
It just seemed like a vote.
You were just hoping.
It seemed like one, right?
Okay, we have two consent agenda resolutions, 2021-114-9 and 2021-115-9. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion?
Second?
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Resolution 2021-116-9, supporting a submission of application for the NJDOT Safe Routes to School program.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. We go out of order now and go to Resolution 2021-120-9 to amend the adopted budget for additional items of revenue and offsetting appropriations, Chapter 159.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Resolution 2021-117-9, authorizing the execution of agreement with Gruskin Group for My Downtown Mobile Semi-Custom application and monthly maintenance. This is for the new mobile app that we've been discussing for the town.
I'll make a motion.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Resolution 2021-118-9, designating a master redeveloper for certain property known as Marne Highway Redevelopment Area, Block 24, lots 4.01, 11, 12.01, 12.02, 12.03, 12.04, and 12.05. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Resolution 2021-119-9, officially naming the Public Works Building in honor of Juan J. Jones, Jr.
Motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore.
Yes. Okay, we're on to business licenses. We have a couple of licenses to approve tonight. on approval of the charitable clothing bin license and business. So do we have a motion and a second?
I'll give you a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes. We're now open for comments from the public. Yes, ma'am.
Firstly, I'd like to commend you for renaming the Public Works Building. I think that's a really lovely gesture. Now, this is the time of year when I am walking around the town, knocking on doors, and things come to my attention. And the one I want to bring up tonight is this. Why does Davenport Village not have recycling bins?
Why does Davenport Village not have recycling bins?
Don't the residents request recycling bins?
I spoke to a resident.
Okay.
She said they used to have recycling bins, but that they no longer have them. She's not really sure why. I looked around the area. There are no recycling bins.
Are you talking about individual
Well,
that
so
they pick up?
in Davenport Village, because it's apartment blocks, they have centralized trash.
Okay.
Right? So they have, I don't know, like one per block maybe of these trash bins, which I assume are emptied by Hainsport Trash Collection, Burlington County Trash Collection.
Recycling's done by the county.
Recycling is county, yeah.
And the trash is a private hauler.
Okay,
Well, the
but
trash is our responsibility.
I guess.
Oh, no, it's not, okay.
I guess my point is, who should the resident contact to get recycling bins?
Well,
Contact
it
their
needs to
manager.
start at the county level because they are the head of the recycling program
Right,
for all 40 municipalities.
right.
We also need to communicate with Jamie Reynolds, who oversees Davenport Village
Right.
for the diocese. So really, it starts at that level, and then we'll also loop in our recycling coordinator at our level. So we just need to connect those three entities together and
Okay.
find out. This is the first time I've heard that.
She said that she had called the township, but I don't know who she spoke to, so.
What was the answer?
That it wasn't their responsibility.
Well, it is a county program.
Right, so that wasn't wrong. But I guess my point is that we want them to be recycling.
Sure.
Sure,
And therefore,
certainly.
let us get our act together and make it easier for them to do it.
Yeah, but the managers there might want to do it different. I think that's their decision, isn't it?
Ann Moore is the Burlington County Commissioner's recycling coordinator. She is responsible for recycling of all of Burlington County.
Okay, so we just need to put the right people in touch with each other. Okay.
I'll facilitate that.
You'll do that,
And to go
excellent.
back to Deputy Mayor's point, I think that's why Paula says Jamie Reynolds, who manages it for the diocese, is the first one really who should be the point person to reach out to the county, reach out to Ann Moore.
Yeah, I highly doubt if they want whatever there is, 30, 40 recycling bins outside.
No, I think
I
we
don't-
want a centralized.
There'll be a dumpster, like a trash
Oh, yeah.
dumpster in a
I
central
think
trash
that-
location.
that's-
Yeah,
Some
I agree.
form of larger central, recycling
Yeah.
container,
Yeah, that
just so
should-
that they can recycle.
Absolutely.
And if they got rid of it, they need to know why. Let's say they needed more trash dumpsters, then they have to build a bigger enclosure. We have to address that. I totally agree with you.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, I'll leave it with you. As far as the resident is concerned, maybe she should have gone through a different avenue, but residents don't always understand what the avenues are that they should use. So you guys do. I'll leave it in your capable hands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that has anything? And there's no one online?
There is a resident online. It's public comments. If you have anything to add, question?
Okay, I see we have Sergeant Antonucci in the audience.
Oh, he had a... Thanks, yeah.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing,
Good
Farouk?
evening.
There's nothing major to report in regards to crime, just other than we've been dealing with some vehicle break-ins around the area. They're happening throughout the state, not just here in Hainesport. They're the detectives are continuing to investigate these break-ins. I want to let the residents know to, make sure they lock their cars and secure any valuables. Some of these, they've left purses like on the seat or on the back, or, expensive equipment like computer equipment. You got to secure that stuff. You can't just leave it in your car when it's unattended. If anyone sees any suspicious people walking around, looking in the cars, please give us a call so we can respond and then investigate, what are you doing? And also, there's, sometimes, like if you see cars driving in and out of parking lots and whatnot, looking at things, that could be a little suspicious as well. There haven't been any issues at the tavern table since we've been conducting the extra patrols on the weekends. And now I think we've also implemented on Thursday evenings too, because of football, football and started up. In June, I remember a couple months ago, the suspicious male traveling throughout residential areas, talking to young children, young females. He was arrested a few weeks ago for exposing himself. So he's
off the street.
He's off the street right
Good.
now. So we also have a new school resource trooper. His name is Trooper Morris. He will be teaching safety lessons to the students and making sure that the schools are safe and secure. I don't know if he stopped by, but he said he was going to stop by municipal building and introduce himself. And he also assists with our state police community policing initiative. Through the course of the summer, we've been out, concerts at the park, the glow-in-the-dark tennis event.
Right.
It was pretty good from what I heard and what I understand. So I'm sure there's going to be more events. Something in the fall, right? Coming
Yeah,
up?
the food truck and
Truck.
antique car festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Again, if there are any issues or concerns, you can contact Paul. Paul will let me know. And obviously, if there's any emergencies, or call 911. Non-emergencies, you can contact the station. And that's all I have.
I got a question.
Sure.
On the break-ins, how do you feel about people leaving their car as if the doors were unlocked? For example, you wouldn't leave your purse in a car if it's unlocked. In other words, I've seen stories where people break in, nothing's taken because nothing's in the car because the car door's locked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the way we're doing it now. We just make sure that nothing's in the car.
Yeah.
Our doors are unlocked. So if they want to open the door, fine.
That's the best bet, because, criminals, if we give them an opportunity, they're going to take it. So we, in the community, we have to take steps to help prevent it as well, And that,
At least you don't get a broken window for nothing.
yeah, if
right?
there's a purse there, they're going to break the window and grab that purse or whatever, is in there.
So I recently ran my own private test of your services in our town. I unknowingly set off the alarm at a business that I'm storing some property in.
Oh, okay.
And lo and behold, the state police were there in a couple minutes. And I'm like, so, I mean, he was nice. I told him, tried to throw who I am around a little bit, and it didn't matter. He needed ID, and he needed this, he needed that. He's very nice, but
Yeah.
but he was there in a couple minutes,
Good, good.
I was like, so I had to call the owner of the property to make sure, it was all good, that my story wasn't bogus, so, but they were there in a couple minutes, so, and it was just random test.
On purpose, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I fumbled with the, alarm. It was all my fault. But yeah, it was, and that's like, you look outside, oh no, the cops are here, like, added to all that stress.
Did you run?
No, I didn't run. I learned a long time ago, when you're had, you're had. Just keep quiet and do what you're told. You know what I mean? And it goes easier that way. We learn that in the service, right? In the military. Just keep your mouth shut and do what you're told. So, I did. The only bad thing is everybody, all the police are so young now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they would catch you.
They're not that young, we're just old.
Yeah.
We're just old, that's.
And they're like, yes, sir, you know. And they're half my age, yep. But no, it's very, appreciate the coverage.
No problem, thank you.
I'm sure they didn't know it was me.
Thank you.
Thanks, we're happy.
Thank you,
It's a great report.
thank you.
Okay, comments from the administrator.
All right. So wanted to let the committee know that I have been working on over 300-page emergency operations plan with our OEM coordinator, Bill Challender, over the past month. The municipal plan must be updated every 4 years, and the purpose of this plan is to protect life and property in emergencies by coordinating response activities of municipal and volunteer entities to ensure their optimal use. It provides for actions to be taken to mitigate, prepare for, respond to, and recover from the effect of an emergency. It is what we follow during emergencies. This plan is submitted to the Burlington County Office of Emergency Management in accordance with the state law. So that is a project I've been working on with Mr. Challender. Wanted to remind the residents that third quarter taxes are due tomorrow. If any of you noticed, our permanent ballot drop box was delivered here yesterday. It is located along, if you're facing the building, the left wall in the front of the building, the main entrance. The ballot boxes will be opened before mail-in ballots are mailed, which will be by this Saturday, September 18th, and it will be locked on election night at 8 p.m. by me. If anyone has any questions about this year's early voting, mail-in voting, you can either call my office or the Burlington County Clerk's office. And there is also a hotline, 609-265-5899, if anybody would like to call the hotline with questions. We did have a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting last week for the playground projects. We had 2 contractors participate, and bid opening will be on September 30th. We are in the midst of updating, refreshing the municipal website. I am confident it will result in a much more user-friendly platform, easier to navigate, and visually more appealing. And then finally, our One Capital project is set to begin tomorrow. We are re-carpeting the meeting room here tomorrow, as well as the base. And then the hallways and entryways will be installed probably over the next couple weeks, so we're pretty excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the solicitor, Mr. Gillespie?
For budgetary purposes, you'll be happy to know that I am not working on a 300-page OEM manual with Paula and Bill. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the committee?
I have just an update on the our cannabis meeting that we had. 7, 8 people involved in it, citizens, as well as Paula, Jerry, and I. Scott Taylor was there, and we had our land use board, Chris Murphy and Kathy Newcomb, who's in charge of that as well. I see Teresa Vernon in the audience, and she was one of our residents. And we had a member of Parker McKay discuss with us the updates. What we had discussed was considering micro cultivators, where it's a 2,500 square foot max, completely enclosed, and we talked about 3 to 5 of them. I'm just going to do is just give a high level, and I'll let Jerry give some of the details. We had discussed wholesale and distributors, and we all know we have a lot of space for wholesale and distributors here in Hainesport, so we're definitely interested in that, and there are some things that we want to make sure that we have nailed down. Not having a whole lot of time, we tabled larger cultivators manufacturers and retail for the next meeting, because there's a lot that needs to be discussed there. But
Yeah, on the manufacturing, we have a lot of environmental issues that haven't been addressed in the industry, smells, noise. So at this point, we don't have all the answers to actually consider that at this point, and, eventually we may have. On the micro growers, we were thinking 5, but we may push that down to 3 and move it up to 5 if it works out. We just are more or less being precautious for our residents. As for warehousing, we were talking about something, warehousing is merely brown box. You don't know what's there. And we want to consider the signage, even the truck lettering pulling into the warehouse. We don't want, saying Cannabis Haven or anything like that. We really want to make it look no different than a Gallo Wine, a CVS, or very just plain warehouse. We don't really want to advertise.
We don't want
it.
advertising?
Yes. So,
Okay.
but that's what we're working on. It's,
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
we're making a lot of progress.
very productive.
There's a lot to consider, and, it's something new. It really hasn't been tested, so we're trying to figure it out ahead of time, and yet we still want to give everybody the opportunity. And then the township, we want to make sure we get the best revenue to offset our taxes out of it. So we're, it's a slow process because we want to consider everything and the impact on the residents.
It's 5 years.
Yeah, it's a 5 years, whatever decision we make, it's a 5-year decision, and we have to consider that. So, I know it's a slow process, but the state's not giving us a lot of information, so we have to figure it out for ourselves, kind of.
And Scott was super there, John, who came and spoke to us, gave us his time, so thank you for sending him. The Cannabis King.
He's good.
Is
Marijuana maven. We've now dubbed him the Cannabis King.
the cannabis, what did he want to be called? The cannabis,
King?
the cannabis law king.
What did we find out?
Okay.
Cannabis is the legal term, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I like that.
Yes, cannabis is the legal term.
Because marijuana is illegal.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
But again, there's still the application, they're talking about a possible deadline of being October, November, but that is not firm yet. But they're really looking to try to get things started in the first quarter. So it will move quickly once the state does this. And there are some limitations on how many cultivators that are going to be out there and everything else.
Can I say on the cultivation, there's a lot of issues on large-scale cultivation.
Right.
Because they're doing 24 hours, 12 months a year. They really have to use fertilizers and chemicals and a lot of things to enhance the growing process during that time, and lighting and, lighting spillage. So there's a lot, smells, there's a lot to consider if we consider cultivation on a large scale, and it's going to be, and manufacturing, so it's going to be it seems like an easy decision to some, but when we actually look into it and read about other areas, there's a lot to consider. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You good?
Mr.
I'm
McLaughlin.
good.
Sounds like you did some good work, guys, on
Thanks.
that. I have no comment from me tonight.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
any comments? Yes, thank you. And you are planning another meeting?
October, 3rd or 4th or 5th?
October 5th?
Did it get moved to the 5th, Tuesday the 5th?
And I'm
Tuesday the
looking forward to it.
5th.
Yes. Very productive meetings.
It's not, it's just a committee meeting, not open to the,
They run over because we
yeah,
want to
not open to
stay.
the public. Yeah, we ran.
You ran way over.
We ran way over.
Because we're really into, taking this, and it's good.
Very good, thank you. So I have a couple of little tidbits to bring people up to date. But first of all, I'd like to thank Jim Dumfrey for coming out this past week and sprucing up the landscaping at the Township building at his cost. He does a phenomenal job here, and we can't thank him enough. I also wanted to say I enjoyed yesterday evening Bagging for Hunger with Committeeman Montgomery and Klaus, and also our tax collector, Paula Tiver, and the recreation director, Donna Casey. We're helping out ShopRite with encouraging people to make additional donations at the end of the day to help with their project, Bagging for Hunger, for putting food in the area food banks. So we all dressed up in our little aprons and helped people bag.
And we worked hard.
Yes, we
It was
did.
It was nonstop.
Trying to keep up. boy, I tell you.
Trying to get that conveyor belt coming down.
Refrigerated, that was crazy.
A lot of eggs and milk and
Yeah,
bread.
the eggs and milk and bread were issues.
And
I thought
ShopRite
maybe
has
we were
these,
having a hurricane.
ShopRite has these blueberries they were just
Yeah.
really unbelievable.
Hey, I got
I'm
this-
saying okay, but they were like really that big.
Hey, I was in charge of stickers.
There you go.
Do we know how much was collected?
I do not know.
Okay.
I don't know whether they have a way of monitoring that, but
Okay.
I do know from past experience that it was, people were much more willing.
Yeah, seemed very
It was
successful.
talked about and.
Very generous.
And it was a phenomenal evening. And if I can impose on people to continue to keep those who need in mind, here at the township, for over 10 years, they have been collecting food, non-perishable items for the needy here at the township building. There used to be the blue buckets, and now they got these white containers that at any time you can come to the township and drop off food products. And they also collect it during the music in the park and the movie nights. So I'd like to encourage people to continue, if they have it available to them, to continue to donate.
Yeah, the movie's free, so
Yeah.
bring some canned goods, right?
Right.
I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Right. So Friday, the 17th, is story time. They've started that program up again for the preschoolers at the Street Community Center from 10 to 11 a.m., and it's a great time for those children, with both stories being read, and then they have little craft projects that they do. It's a wonderful introduction for children to meet other children of their age, those that don't have the opportunity to go to a preschool environment. On September 21st, the Verona County Sheriff's Department will be bringing their Hope One mobile unit here to the township building. That's where they teach people and educate people on the problems we are having all over with the abuse of narcotics and such, and they teach people how to use the Narcan injection to bring people back and give it to those that need. So they will be here from 10 to 2 p.m. That's Tuesday, the 21st. On Friday, the 24th, is another movie in the park, Incredible 2. And on Friday, the 1st, is the movie Hotel Transylvania. At that movie, there will be an additional trunk or treat event going on for the children. So people from the township building, the staff, the fire department, EMTs, and the township committee will be participating in that. So if you know of any children wants to have a good time, trick or treat someplace safe, and watch a Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus, at the same time, we're in good shape.
And the date again on that, Mayor?
The Hocus Pocus is Friday, the 8th of October. On October the 2nd, though, is the Food Truck and Car Show, Antique Car Show. I believe Mr. McLaughlin is participating. There'll be a DJ and dance groups, and it should be a fun time. And I know last year it went over very well. Cleanup Day.
What day is that, October 2nd?
Pardon?
What day is it?
The 2nd.
2nd.
Put it on your calendar.
Sure, I'll be here.
Cleanup day for the township is Saturday, the 16th. It's from 7 a.m. to noon. On Tuesday, the 20th, the township is going to be having at the street center a shot clinic. They nurses from that are affiliated with Acme will be here providing flu shots for ages 11 and above. Also, the the senior flu shot. I can't pronounce it. They'll have shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, and hepatitis shots available along with the COVID booster. You sign up on the township's website. There's a QR code that you simply snap on, and up comes the information to fill out to make your appointment. And that will be from 1 to 5, like I said, at the Street Community Center on Broad Street. All updates for all the events are posted on the township website. And like we said, we are in the process of redoing it. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more user-friendly, but you should be able to locate these items rather easily. In the meantime, that's all I have. And we have some bills to pay. So
Need a motion for that?
I do.
I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
Thank you.
I will second that motion that we pay our bills.
Great.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes. And I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
I second it.
A third.
Mr. Levinson? Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
All right.
The meeting's adjourned.